Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Chakras and Cuss Words podcast. My name is Katherine, and I am your host. Today, we are talking about the full moon in Gemini that is occurring on December 14th at 4 a.m. So if you want to get up at 4 a.m. and do some moon magic, or maybe stay up that long, more power to you, sister, but I will be asleep. I will be asleep. But yes, so it's occurring very early in the morning, which is fine. You know, it's the way this Gemini does it. You know, what can we say? It's the cold moon. It's the last full moon of the year, and this full moon has a lot of energy. So this full moon is known as the cold moon, which is basically the moon that is the last to close out this year. So traditionally, we're going to want to look at areas of closure and taking in that space of preparing for winter. Winter is it's a big deal. Like, remember when Jon Snow was like, winter is coming? You're like, oh shit. Oh shit. What does that mean? It means that winter is allowing us the process to transition, to reflect, and to bring closure and prepare for the new year. So as winter occurs, it is allowing us to close out this year of 2024, the year of 8, the year of Saturn, the energy of everything that we've seen, everything that this Saturn energy has seen in the year of 8 is coming to a closure as we transition over to the year of 9. And we'll get more into that. But in all honesty, let's just take in this energy and this moment of the cold moon. The cold moon comes with a lot of indigenous history. It also has a lot of area of European rituals that take place in this energy of being the freezing cold moon that allows us to say adios to the old version of maybe ourselves or maybe that year and kind of take in the new steps and chapters that will allow us to grow. It is kind of like that energy of like going and hibernating and getting whimsically washed away from whatever it was that we didn't complete in the year and allow us to kind of now see where it is that we could have been a little bit more maybe consistent or a little bit more reflective or a little bit more warming or a little bit more connected in certain aspects. Astrology speaking, it is the full moon in Gemini, so this allows us to think things out, and it also allows us to communicate in certain areas of curiosity and also adaptability. What's interesting about winter is when we think about winter and we think about that energy of the cold and the energy of adapting, that's what winter was about. It was about survival. It was about surviving the worst season of the year. Traditionally, most people die in winter, and a lot of the reasons why is because they were older in age or they got sick or whatever happened. But winter does bring that element of kind of like death and spooky and scariness, and knowing that the people who didn't survive were probably the ones who were running around with no jackets on, and they're like, you know, getting sick or not taking care of themselves when we think about it like in the old days. But in all honesty, winter does have that element of kind of like death and everything a little bit around it, where we're going to be deading the situation of our old self and embracing the new situation of our new energy. Not necessarily our new self, because we never really change, but there is a version of us that many of us may have not even imagined yet. And we're going to look at how we can find this version of ourselves and how we're going to get down to what that version of us is for this full moon in Gemini, for this cold moon. And we're going to get down to it so deep, to our animal instinct of it, and how it is tied into our survival energy, our adaptability, our areas of reevaluating our goals for the next year and reevaluating our mindset for 2025. Guys, this is intense when we think about the shift of energy. So the rituals that basically are centered around the cold moon would be about energies of releasing and clearing and letting go of certain ties, letting go of old practices that maybe we don't want to hold on to anymore because now we are adapting our new person, our new regime on life, our new adaptability. And also, what we want to think about energies when we are thinking about ending certain situations is we also have to remember that this is a powerful time to embrace change, to embrace and improve on certain things that allows us to create this fresh start. And many of you guys are probably wondering, well, how are we going to do that? We're going to communicate with our animal instinct, our internal instinct, our energy of the root of which is focused here on earth, and also that area of duality that the Gemini brings, and also allowing us to open up different mindsets and allowing us to communicate to that person that is us that we have not seen yet, to our animal instinct of what it is of survival meaning to us in completing certain goals or also moving further in certain areas and journeys of our lives. And we're going to do this by learning and embracing our spirit guides. So for this full moon, we're going to get a little animalistic and we're going to get a little bit more centered in the bigger picture of finding that energy of our animalistic nature, our survival nature, our adaptability nature, and our energy of surviving the winter and coming back 10 times better than what we've ever been. Because that is kind of like what the energy of 9 speaks of, is living in the alignment of everything we learned in 2024, everything we learned in the year of 8 of responsibilities and boundaries, but showing it full forward in the year of 9. But first, let's talk about what is a spirit animal versus what is an animal guide. So spirit animals, we usually hear about this in the native culture, especially in the native cultures in different areas of, like, let's say the Americas, or in different representations of certain tribes. And it is seen as a reflection of the core essence of energy that embodies that person throughout their life. It's also a representation of strengths and qualities and spiritual connections to the animal world. So it's a very strong connection. I honestly think it's a very beautiful connection when we look at the spirit animals and the energy that the natives have used in energies of embracing the earth and embracing the animal and embracing the lives that they may have occurred in that instinctive process of their animal instinct and also animal past lives, but having these areas of energy coming back up in areas of dreams, meditations, or significance in their life journeys and also life paths. But the kind of animal nature that we're looking at is a little bit different and it's a little bit broader. So if you don't have direct ties to any native lands or native people or indigenous practices, it should be more, I would say, more able for you to use, because the animal guide is different than a spirit animal, and we're concentrating more on the animal guides. So an animal guide is basically an animal guide who is seen as a spiritual helper or an ally. I would say like somebody who is there to give you a message in certain areas of your life. So you may not have necessarily been that animal in a past life, and this animal may not come to you in dreams or in meditations, but they could. But it's more focused on how this animal can help guide you in specific areas and purpose of your life. So they assist with challenges obstacles and transitions. And this cold full moon is all about a transition. It's all about learning lessons and moving forward and having a connection with your animal instinct and also your energy of adaptability and reflection. The animal guide is a little bit more of a temporary connection, and that's why we're using an animal guide towards the winter, and also seeing how this energy is going to be centered around our area of like coming back a little bit stronger, a little bit smarter, a little bit more reflective when we hit the spring, because this animal guide has allowed us to do this. So I'm going to recommend you get a pen, a paper, take notes, whatever it is, because there's going to be some journal prompts that you're going to want to listen to when you are using this energy of reflective energy for finding your animal guide. Or you might already know who your animal guide is. For me, my animal guide is going to be the wolf. And I think some of you guys already knew about this. I was talking about the wolf earlier, but I have decided to use the wolf. And we're going to be concentrating on animal guides that are more centered around the winter months, just because this is a transition and that we are using as we are embracing winter. So basically, when we are looking at the energy of the two, we have to remember that spirit guides are a lifelong connection. So there is some energy tied into past lives and representation of the core essence, reflection of the whole individual of self, and it is repeated often in a lifelong process. Some of you might have spirit guides or might have spirit animal ties that are really seen as your spirit animal, especially if you are coming from an indigenous practice or from native lands. However, if you're not, that's okay. We're going to talk about the animal guides as an energy that we're going to use temporarily as we are shifting to the winter. And this energy is seen in many traditions, many cultures, many people with different backgrounds use different animals for different things. So this is an energy that is seen to help guide you and help lift you up and to help create energies of abundance when it feels like a struggle. So we're going to see how this animal guide is going to help us. So the first thing we're going to want to look at is the different types of animal guides that are more centered around the winter, and what each one of these animal guides means as a whole, but also means to us, and how we can use this area of representation throughout the cold months. So when we are thinking about some of our challenges, let's say our main focus is to come back in the winter 10 pounds lighter, or to come back in a new job, we're going to look at that animal guide for areas of resilience. We're going to look at that animal guide for areas of determination. So the first animal guide that I want to talk about is the bear. So the bear, I really enjoy the bear as an animal guide because the theme that the bear has is taking time to rest and also self-care. So the bear uses this time for resting and self-care and movement, of hibernating during the winter and symbolizing the importance of retreat. So if you are choosing your bear, you are going to be looking at conserving energy, looking at self-care, looking at how this energy can guide you to allow stillness as you repair and prepare for your renewal. The message that the bear really has is to take time on inner healing, inner strength building, and inner reflection during the winter. So when you come back just a little bit stronger, just a little bit braver, and just a little bit more determined. Another thing that I like about the bear is the bear hibernates. And with hibernation, that is a very self-centered and almost like it's a very cutting off external energies that you don't need. And I think all these animals hold that resemblance, but the bear does it in a way that feels very aligned to somebody who might need to be cutting out certain situations of their life, certain people, and certain energies because they know that in the winter it's going to be a little bit easier to do it. It's like when you cut out that toxic friend. You know, in the summer, maybe you guys have tons of fun, and you also see that there's been some life mistakes you had, or you just don't want to surround yourself with that energy anymore. And maybe you see that friend just at this time isn't on the same path as you, and now it's time that you end that friendship. Using the bear would be a good one to use because the bear allows that hibernation to come forward, to strengthen, and also to build before they move to their next journey. So the next animal that I would like to talk about is the one I'm going to use, and that is the wolf. So the energy of the wolf is about survival, and also we have to remember that it's about community. The wolf is considered very intuitive and also seen as a strong individual, but also likes to be around a pack. Also, the wolves thrive in harsh conditions, and sometimes when very strong conditions occur, you will see the wolf will continue to power through the situations, representing the area of adaptability and also resilience. The power of working with the pack, with the collective and the community, so they can encourage each other in the pack, and they can also use that area to trust and create bonds with people who are on the same type of pathway and also around the same type of energy. So the wolf is seen to be a instinctive animal and really uses their energy of intuition. So if you are looking at using the wolf, I would say some of the things that I would be working on is working on my intuition, working on community, looking at the energy of adaptability, how can you adapt to certain situations that may have been very challenging for you. For instance, if it's like learning to eat better, maybe it's taking time to learn how to meal prep, to adapt so your life is a little bit easier. Also, you are going to honor both your independence, as the wolf does, and also that area of connection and the collective as well. Seeing that you will have to reach out to other people, communicate with other people to take in this wolf energy. The wolf travels in a pack for a reason, because it is seen as almost like a teacher element, but also as somebody who allows their resources to become aligned with who it is that they are, to create energy around movement. Another animal for your spirit guide that I really like, and I was like battling between the wolf and the owl. The owl is seen off of energy of wisdom. So when we are looking at this time that we will be hibernating, working on ourselves, preparing for winter, we have to remember that there are some key factors that each one of these animals represent. The owl really represents wisdom, learning, having visions, and staying a little mysterious, right? So the owl energy wouldn't probably have a big pack, but owls do socialize. They do still have that socialization of, being usually within their unit of the family, but also having that connection of independence. And they are a little bit mysterious. So an owl could be an animal where you might be like retreating and also kind of like learning. Like the owl is kind of like that energy of maybe you're taking like a new class, you're working on yourselves by gaining some more knowledge, embracing certain aspects about yourself that you really stay focused on to uncover some of your hidden truths, some of your hidden talents, and really see how you can quietly achieve this. So the owl isn't like as big and as bold as the bear. So, but it is very like that silent movement that kind of flows through the night. So the owl's energy about finding that uncovered wisdom is really kind of like a self-absorbing energy. It's also allowing you to trust your vision, and it's allowing you to trust your goals. So if you feel like you need to trust and kind of work on that confidence of seeing your vision fully kind of portrayed, I would say the owl would definitely be a good one to work with. Another spirit animal or guide animal that I really like is the fox. The fox is all about being clever, learning new things, and also learning new resources. Looking at areas of adaptability, the foxes always have that high adaptive creature mentality because a lot of the times people take land from the foxes to like build all these homes, and we still see that the fox is still surviving, still moving, and taking in the winter challenges. The fox is focused on the energy of solving problems. So the fox would be something that if you felt like maybe 2024 was like an energy where you had a lot of problems, or maybe you felt like you had a lot of obstacles and now you really want to work through those obstacles, move past certain one of those energies, the fox gives you that energy to think outside of the box, to think how you can allow these problems to resolve and not necessarily for them to occur again. So for instance, if you understand that for whatever reason, let's just say you are very unhappy in certain places of where you are at in energy of, let's say, enjoyment of some of your hobbies, or you haven't really been able to express yourself or to move in a creative force, and that was something that you were planning on doing in 2024, but for whatever reason it just didn't happen. You were maybe too busy, work was getting in the way, friends were getting in the way, everything was kind of like getting in the way where you couldn't do all the things that you wanted to do, or at least start some of the things that you wanted to start. So use this fox energy to look outside of the box, to really give yourself time to look at the creativity of what it is that you have as resources and fulfill those goals. Also, the thing that the fox really brings when we are looking at messages is stay light on your feet. The fox is incredibly fast, and also by that might be good for somebody who's kind of like a busybody. And there's nothing wrong with being a busybody, but understanding like you have to reward yourself. So for instance, let's say you were like, I need to clean my house, but I also want to work on art. Give yourself that 1 hour to clean your house. That's it. Like, don't start any other projects, and then allow yourself to have that other hour and a half to work on your art or to work on whatever it was that you wanted to work on as a creative person, or one of your goals. Maybe it's working out, but allowing yourself to have a time frame where you understand that maybe you can't complete it fully how you wanted to, but you need to complete this just as much as you can, and also ask for help if you need to, so you can move on to something else. The other spirit animal or guide animal, because we are working with them as the energies of guide animals, is the deer. The deer is gentle, it's graceful, it's resilient. And I was thinking about doing the deer too. Like, I was like, oh, I should do the deer. A deer is very good as getting centered around that area of compassion. Let's say maybe you want to work on maybe like your anger. I sometimes have to work on my anger, so don't like feel like, oh, but like maybe you want to work on your anger, or you want to work on having more grace and like a classiness about you. the deer would be very good to do. Maybe getting more tied into that feminine state, that kind of slowing down state, that quiet strength of being a little bit more silent and being a little bit more endured in the energy of just allowing the silence, allowing the gentleness of the winter to take place, allowing that power to kind of soften, allowing the calmness of the winter to occur. Sometimes I feel like people forget that the winter is here so we can rest and reflect. So, kind of the deer would be centered around a lot of self care. It would also be centered around femininity and grace and that area of moving towards a feminine state that feels very classy and also feels very luxurious and centered around movement. And I don't know if you guys can hear Tang, but he is like a snoring hardcore. The other one is a raven. So a raven would be used for definitely high transformation. So if you are planning on, like, I love how people sometimes say for the new year, that old version of me is now dead. It's now gone. I don't know that person. That person never existed. And now I am in a high energy of interception where I'm coming back as somebody who you are going to be blown away with. So that would definitely be the energy of the raven. The raven is when you are ready to just end that old version of you, give it up, move past it. And the raven, in all honesty, is about transformation, complete transformation, new person, new energy. You're saying goodbye to all the old shit that occurred in 2024. Maybe you had a horrible breakup. Maybe you saw that it was more than just the situation, but there was a lot of elements about you that you wanted to work on. Maybe it was just something that completely ended some of your logic. Maybe it was something that just totally shifted how you thought. And now it's time to embrace some new energy. So how you're going to do that is connecting with the energy of the raven, embracing your shadow, reflecting, really spending this winter towards the energy of transformation, coming back that better person, that new person, that of energy that feels aligned with you, because you are allowing the shadow, you are allowing the transformation to be completely erased in the energy of what you used to hold sacred, because now you are moving towards other energies that are bringing you vibrance, that are bringing you a new journey. It's a powerful energy. And I would say if you are going to use the raven, you definitely want to make sure you use it, because this is a life-changing experience. I definitely think that the raven energy is one of the strongest energies. I use ravens a lot in my spiritual practice for energies of transformation, of letting go certain logics, letting go certain shadows, letting go certain areas. But you're going to really have to trust your inner magic, and you're going to have to also learn that you have to respect your shadow, and you have to get down and dirty with your shadow work. So if you are ready to take on that energy of using the raven for your guide during this winter, I say do it, do it. Also, another winter animal guide is a snow leopard. A snow leopard represents spiritual insight and also solitude and inner strength. So these are seen as graceful, collective creatures that are centered on a unique path. They are very unique and they're very confident. So this energy is about stepping into your independence and stepping into your uniqueness, being centered around graceful movements. They are very graceful. Like, they're not like I don't know. I feel like a bear's a little clumsy. I don't know. But I mean, a bear is very strong, but also like a little clumsy. So very graceful movements. Another one is the penguin. Endurance and balance and cooperation. So looking at that energy of changing by learning to compromise. And sometimes when we are looking at moving forward in certain situations, we have to realize that sometimes the biggest person that's holding us back is ourselves, because we haven't compromised with our own patience and our own center of movement, and teaching ourselves values of why it is important to not only compromise because it helps the unity and it also helps the family bond, because penguins to me are very like family orientated. Um, and it helps the family, but it also helps the unit. So finding that joy in community, in family, in the collective, and learning to support others as well as yourself. So this energy would be used with somebody who definitely, let's say, is working on a family, starting a new family, or is maybe having problems within their family. They're going to want to look at the penguin and that energy of the penguin's guide energy of how it is to move forward in creating more compassion and also more cooperation and balance and endurance. So it is a very good animal. Another one that I want to talk about, and this is the last one, is the moose. The moose. The moose is very self-resilient. Remember, they got those big old antlers. I want to say antennas. They got those big old antlers, and they're very strong, and they represent like woo, woo. You know, they're very strong and they're very independent. They're quiet in nature, so they're not as like as like maybe the wolf or the fox, but they're very quiet and determined. So this is your energy. I would say the moose reminds me of like the root chakra energy of like standing tall, also standing upright, seeing your own power. So it's a lot of confidence, it's a lot of determination, and it's understanding that you have the strength and the self-resilience to keep on going on, to keep on moving on, to keep on embracing on. So it's a very strong energy that you want to look at. So ways that you can connect with your spirit guide, in all honesty, is around meditation, reflecting on which animal really resonates with you. Definitely these are winter animals that we're using. Observing that energy through nature, your surrounding, if it could be with your dreams or being aligned in your current path. What energy are you going through right now, and how does this animal help you see that there are a lot of paths and different areas of movement? Another thing that you want to do is use this animal towards visualization. Also use this animal towards rituals. So like if you're using a raven, you could get like raven feathers. You can, use a raven tarot deck. If you're using the wolf, you would look at maybe creating like a list of steps, because we have to remember that the wolf takes many steps. Same with the fox, looking at a new journey, looking at where this journey starts and how this journey ends. When you are looking at the energy of the penguin, how does this area fold into what it is that you want to take in your own home life and create that energy of renewal and regrowth. Also, we have to remember that there's a lot of ways of looking at your current path and really seeing how this animal can help guide you, because there is a lot of strength and there's also a lot of compassion and energy of having a deeper connection with Earth and also a deeper connection with our spiritual presence when we are using and also embracing the animal life. I would say I think that journal prompts are very good to use if you are still looking to see which animal you connect with, or also looking to see how you can connect with this animal. So here are some journal prompts. What animal do I feel most connected with during the winter. So for instance, out of all those four, or if there's some animal like the polar bear that I didn't mention that maybe you feel connected with, put that animal and then put why. Let's say it's the polar bear and I didn't mention the polar bear. You like the polar bear because every Christmas your grandma used to put up all these polar bears everywhere. Maybe that's why you feel this strong energy towards the polar bear. You like the polar bear because you want to create more energy around the polar bears because they're having a hard time, because it's really getting horrible with global warming and they're on the brink of extinction. So maybe you want to use the polar bear. And so you put what animal you want to connect with and why. Also, has any of these animals shown up in your dreams, or which animals have been showing up in your dreams? Maybe your thoughts, maybe just showing up in your real life. Maybe you've seen a wolf, or maybe you've seen an owl lately. Also, what animal do you think really represents winter? So if I would ask, has this animal showed up to you and which animal really represents winter? Also, if we were to embody an animal and have a chance to watch an animal throughout the winter season, which animal would it be and why? Right? So we have to remember that this is the energy of lessons. So you would ask yourself, what lessons might this animal be teaching me about endurance, transformation, or adaptability? How does this animal adapt? Also, you want to look at what it is that you honor from this animal. What practices can I adopt in the winter to honor guidance from my animal guide, from your winter animal guide? So you also want to use this animal in energies of reflection and also guidance, such as meditation or such as areas of visualizing what it would be like if you took this journey that this animal has. So if I could take a journey through the winter wilderness with my animal guide, what would we experience together? So that's another journal prompt. So this I know this might feel like, whoa, this is a lot. You know what I mean? Like this is a lot taking in this animalistic energy, but it is our survival energy and it's our energy of allowing us to recognize that there is support by the universe in many forms. So also I want to pull 2 cards for the full moon in Gemini as a collective reading. I'm not going to do the whole zodiacs because this is going to be more centered on the animal guides for this reading. But this card is basically inner earth. And this is for the collective. You'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. So definitely everything that we've been talking about new solutions, survival, moving forward with our animal guides, and moving into an energy that feels aligned with ourselves and exploring and feeling the need to resonate with who it is that we are aligned with on the energy of a survival instinct and also allowing the winter months to pass and allowing the obstacles to pass. And then another card, I shuffled these earlier. Let me get this one. We'll do 2. The big picture thinking. Big picture thinking. So this is basically based off the energy of being inspired to have new ideas. And I know this idea probably sounds really wild to some people of using an animal guide, but the animals are here for us. A lot of people who are aligned in the energy of the stars and also cosmic energy know the importance of the energy here on Earth. And this is also a placidius energy. So there we go.
So I want to remind everybody to use these cards as they both show representation of the earth and also the cosmic connection. The energy of having two elements of where we are here and now, and our energy of greater purpose, higher enlightenment, and area of seeking and thinking in a bigger and broader stance. Remember, when we are using our animal guides, that this is a connection of us here on earth. This is an energy of our survival instinct, also of our area of our animalistic instinct and our intuitive nature. It's our energy of strength, and it is also our energy of guidance. So if none of these animals were resonating with you, take time to find the animal that resonates with you. And I hope everybody has an amazing day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this podcast. And of course, as always, give it a little rating and share it with your witchy bestie. Bye.